Here are the stories we're covering this week in the Category 5.tv newsroom. NASA is going back to the moon with plans for a space station to be built within 10 years, and they're tapping into private businesses to make it happen. Microsoft has announced that it is enabling users to log into their Microsoft accounts without usernames and passwords. Microsoft's own Surface Book 2 is afflicted by blue screen of death errors following the most recent software updates, and Nintendo has relaxed its rules for video makers who share their gameplay on websites such as Twitch and YouTube. These stories are coming right up. Don't go anywhere.
This is the Category 5.tv newsroom, covering the week's top tech stories with a slight Linux bias.
Jeff Weston.
Yeah, man.
You're building a brand new, beautiful website.
What?
Aren't you?
No. Am I?
Oh, you're a terrible actor.
What?
This is where acting comes into play.
Oh, I didn't know we were acting.
You're supposed to act.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah, I'm building a really cool website. Are you building a really cool website? Just because Jeff is confused doesn't mean you have to be. Visit cat5.tv/dreamhost to sign up for unlimited web hosting for your website with unlimited email accounts, MySQL databases, the latest version of PHP, WordPress, and more, and even a free domain name registration. It's less than $6 per month, so sign up today. cat5.tv/dreamhost.
I'm Sasha Rickman, and here are the top stories we're following this week. NASA is going back to the moon with plans for a space station to be built within 10 years, and they're tapping into private businesses to make it happen. The announcement on future moon flights came just 3 days after NASA successfully landed InSight spacecraft on Mars. NASA has announced that it will be private companies that will make America's next moon landing. NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine said Thursday that 9 American companies will compete to carry experiments to the surface of the moon. The space agency said in a statement that the goal is to bring many science and technology experiments to the moon as soon as possible. The first such flight could come as early as next year. In 2019, NASA and people across the United States will mark the 50th anniversary of the first manned landing on the moon. The last time humans visited the moon was in 1972 during NASA's Apollo 17 mission. NASA officials say the goal of the planned space flight is to transport equipment for performing experiments and collecting information about the moon. Some of the companies are expected to develop small launch vehicles or robotic rovers to explore its surface. The research is meant to help astronauts get back to the moon more quickly and keep them safer once they arrive. The space agency says that it will award a total of $2.6 billion to private businesses for the moon effort over the next 10 years. Bridenstine said that NASA wants a lot of companies involved to strengthen competition. He also said he expects people to have regularly working on the moon within 10 years. The new partnership is modeled after another NASA program that uses private companies to transport supplies to the International Space Station, or ISS. SpaceX and Northrop Grumman have made ISS shipments since 2012. SpaceX and Boeing are planned to start transporting astronauts to the space station sometime next year. NASA has said it expects work on a new space station laboratory to start as soon as 2022. The new space station would orbit the moon, but it is also expected to serve as a launching point for missions to other parts of the solar system, including the planet Mars.
Wow.
This is cool.
It's starting.
Remember?
It's been going for a while.
Yeah.
But, like, it was the 70s when we last went to the moon?
1972. That's
Wow.
crazy.
Something like that.
I want them to use LiDAR. Can they use LiDAR there?
What would you use LiDAR for?
I don't know, because didn't we use LiDAR before to...
There's not a lot of trees on the moon, though.
Yeah.
No, but can't you use it to go subterranean?
No.
Oh,
it's
do
Not
you?
to that degree.
Oh.
It's LiDAR is going to is basically for surface measuring. So so you'd see like the rivets and the canyons and things like that, but it's surface.
Could you discover caves then?
Yeah.
I suppose.
So you could
But they've
use
kind
it.
of
There's
mapped
caves on
the
the moon?
surface of the moon already, for the most part.
Yeah? When did they do that?
Well, like you can find maps of the moon all over the place. Like, oh, there's this crater here, and there's like they're regularly studying the moon.
It'd be interesting once there's a space station orbiting the moon, though. I think about an orbit, and I think about how the distant side of the moon, because the moon doesn't rotate.
Right.
How it's
The
kind
dark
of,
side of the moon.
the dark side of the moon is kind of, oh, great, we just unmonetized. Luckily, it wasn't recognizable.
Right.
But it's kind of a mystery to us.
Yeah, that's true.
In a lot of ways.
That is true.
There are probably aliens on the other side of the moon.
I don't think that's
You don't think
true.
so? Okay.
No.
All
But
right.
what I do like about this is that it is pushing the limits of our research and technology. The fact that they want people to do experiments on the moon within the next, several years is neat.
Well, 2022 is not far off, Jeff.
No, it's not. But I mean, like, if you think about those two twins that went into space, or the one went into space and the one was on Earth, and how their genetic makeup changed
Yes.
being in space. It would be
Right.
neat to see how, we do experiments here on Earth, and how being in a zero gravity or very
Right.
low,
Low
gravity,
gravity on the moon anyways.
environment would change things. And is that going to change the way that we look at physics and all that kind of stuff? It'd be very interesting to see how it pushes the envelope to say what is possible. At the same time, though, I go, there's probably going to be some stupid person who's going to go, hey, let's use those rocket boosters and see how high we can get. And they were doing a solo spacesuit mission to
Well,
Mars.
that would be the end of the stupid person.
yeah, exactly.
I feel like stupid people don't make it all the way to the moon.
Maybe. But
You have to be pretty intelligent to make it all the way to the moon.
I hope
is
so.
$2 billion going to be enough? Like, I feel like just a rocket
not a
launch
lot of-
is like $100 million or something, just for all the fuel and everything.
But you know what? SpaceX has been working on reusable
yes, that's true.
rockets, which is a huge deal.
Drives the cost lower.
Oh man, does it ever? And being able to go up and down, like that's revolutionary. That's changing. That's going
Right.
to change things for sure.
Yeah.
I think for me, what is so exciting is this is now 3 weeks that we've had new NASA stories.
Exactly.
New information about missions to Mars.
Yes.
Now the moon. What was last week?
Last week was Mars, wasn't it? Last week was
It was
Mars.
the rover, I think.
And there was
There was one though. Yeah, this is the third week.
NASA.
Yeah, but I love space exploration. I love it. I love.
I can't wait until it starts.
I know.
mean, I still feel, because as a Star Trek fan, I feel like we're just dipping
It's
our
just
toe
that
in
we're
the
just
water. It's not
so
even.
small here
I
on
know.
Earth. Earth is small, and we're small on Earth.
When you see that
and-
picture from InSight, looking back from almost to Mars,
Mm-hmm.
looking back toward Earth and seeing the moon and seeing Earth this big, in the picture you think, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is astonishing. Like that picture blows my mind because I have to put myself into the fact that that is reality. That's a
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
picture. The first time in history, and mankind has done that. It's
pretty neat.
It's exciting what could come. Space exploration and everything else.
Space exploration and deep sea exploration are both my favorite
That
things.
intrigues me as well.
Yeah.
As a fan of SeaQuest,
I feel like we're going to conquer space before we conquer the sea, though.
do you really think so?
Yeah.
I don't know, because the sea is finite.
It is, but we don't spend enough time exploring the sea. Whereas space, it's like, oh, look at all that.
The last
Well,
time
we
we
might-
landed on the moon was 1972.
We might have a space station orbiting the moon.
Yeah.
And we may have a station of some sort on Mars at some point, hopefully within my lifetime, because I'd be really proud to be a part of that
Oh,
era.
I think you will.
Yeah.
Just don't croak in the next 10 years.
I hope not. Thank you, Jeff. And on that note,
Wow. Dark. Microsoft has announced that it is enabling users to log into their Microsoft accounts without usernames and passwords. Instead of passwords, which the tech behemoth has previously described as inconvenient, insecure, and expensive, Windows 10 users can switch to physical security keys or biometrics-based Windows Hello for authentication. Microsoft's announcement says this combination of ease of use, security, and broad industry support is going to be transformational informational. Every month, more than 800 million people use a Microsoft account to create, connect, and share from anywhere to Outlook, Office, OneDrive, Bing, Skype, and Xbox Live for work and play. And now they can all benefit from this simple user experience and greatly improved security. Beyond the security key, there are also the options to verify users with Window Hello's iris or fingerprint recognition, as well as with the help of the Microsoft Authenticator app for Android and iOS. Don't rush to forget your Windows password just yet, however. There may be a few things to do or eventually buy before you can possibly consign your password to history and use biometrics or PIN to access services such as Outlook, Office, Skype, OneDrive, and Xbox Live. The new authentication option will work only on the company's Edge browser, which began to support the WebAuthn password-free login standard earlier this year. You also need the latest Windows 10 version, which is version 1809, also known as the October 2018 update.
Also known
as
living hell.
Right. When I read that earlier, I was like,
You need to use Edge?
Yeah,
Edge.
see, that right there is a
Come
game killer for
on
me.
now.
okay, so earlier today, I realized that I couldn't remember my password, and I
Yes.
thought to myself, biometrics, that would be a thing. That would be a good thing.
But would you use Edge?
I would never use Edge.
Come on now.
But I would, however,
So it's like-
probably trust my fingerprint more than I trust my brain.
I feel like, and that's it. Like our phones now are biometric based. I'm actually, I bought my coffee from Starbucks today using biometrics, which was cool. That was the first time I've ever done that. So I had to actually put my fingerprint on the fingerprint scanner, and it charged my account, and I'm done. And now my coffee's paid for, and I drove away.
Right.
And I was happy. And it was
See-
really neat. And I'll eventually get a free one after 10 coffees, which is kind of neat.
I like that.
Yeah.
So biometrics is comfortable.
We're kind of living in that world now. But I feel
Except
like
if you
Microsoft
have
is
to
saying
use
Edge. Microsoft is saying, okay, we're going to. They're saying we're going to innovate, but really this is just catching up to what is expected of you now as a software vendor. But and then limiting you. This is like when ActiveX came out. Like that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
See, I feel like maybe this is an incorrect assessment, but to me, it feels like Microsoft is always behind the game, and they're trying to play catch up by forcing you into their stuff.
You know what Microsoft is notorious for? Is
Blue screen of
setting
death?
absolutely. And we're going to talk about that.
yes, and also
But they're also notorious for thinking that they can push technology.
Yeah, they can't.
They can't. They're not. They're not Google, and I say that with all due respect. There was a time when Microsoft was innovative,
The leader,
and,
yeah.
and the leader. That's not who Microsoft is anymore.
No.
Microsoft is now a follower, and as a follower, they think that they can continue to lead, and they cannot
No.
do that with the old mindset. The old mindset was Mac versus Windows. And so if you're on Windows, you will do it the way that we say, the
Right.
way that we set it up for you.
right.
Now, there are other options out there, Microsoft, sorry. So I'm using Google Chrome.
As-
I'm not about to switch to Microsoft Edge. There is no way in heck.
I
And it's just like
second
Bing.
that.
I hate using Bing.
Oh, Bing is garbage. So
It's horrible.
you think about that.
Might as well go back to Ask Jeeves.
Oh my goodness.
That's funny. That there.
But Microsoft still has that old mindset where they think that by containerizing the features, this is where Nintendo was a year ago.
Yes.
Nintendo was here a year ago, and they are finally wising up. They're starting to because people have backlashed.
Yeah.
Right. Can I ask a question that is more about the biometric side of things?
Sure.
So for security reasons, because they said that it's more secure to use biometrics, my question to you is could, and I just imagine this happening maybe from movies, I don't know, could somebody reassign your fingerprints as their fingerprint or reassign,
Yes.
right?
Well,
could
the
it?
scary thing is,
Yeah.
he can unlock my phone.
Yeah.
See,
He's my twin.
see, That's
can
my
unlock
question.
facial recognition through photos or
Right.
through videos and things
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Or can you like hack into somebody's system and make your iris now their iris so that they can never get into their stuff? Only you can.
We've had talks with security professionals in the past here on the show. Get onto our website, category5.tv. I wish I had it ready for you, but I wasn't ready for the question. But we have had that discussion where it's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Right.
Like certain like phishing scams and everything, ransomware, they go out and they randomly pick people. They're completely random because it's easy. There's not any effort that goes into it from the hacker standpoint to get you to cough up some Bitcoin. When it comes to biometrics, how difficult and how much labor and money and ability has to go into forging someone's fingerprints and iris in order to access their devices. You have to be that. I'm not that person.
Right.
I'm not that person who would be susceptible to that attack. Now, if I was the president of a financial institution, I might be that person.
Right.
Then I would need to worry about those types of attacks. And so I would presumably have protection in place for those things.
It's
Burn off my
worrisome.
fingertips.
But
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that person that they're going to invest in hacking my Google account.
it's still, I guess it's just worrisome to me because I think to myself, I would delve right into this because I have a hard time remembering my passwords. And I have a password manager that I
love the biometrics.
locked myself out of because I can't remember that password.
See,
So,
I think when it comes to biometrics, there needs to be a fail-safe of, what's the way to log in and what's the way to fake log in so that you lock your account. Like, i.e., like with your fingers. Say you use your index finger to unlock your phone, but you set your middle finger as the one that locks down your device. So if say it was brought up in the chat room, you're crossing the border and a country says, if you want to come in, you need to unlock your phone. We need to see what's on there. And you go, here, you use the finger, the phone locks out. It's like,
not
oh, sorry, I
working.
can't. I don't know what to.
and then they shoot you in the face.
Well,
Jeff, you got to be careful, man.
not that far. But no, but that does bring into question the idea if all of your devices are locked by biometrics, at what point, from a legal standpoint, can the law enforcement push the envelope? Because that's a whole new avenue of being able to get in. I mean, you've got the encryption, and how many phones have now gone to courts where the police is like, we need access to the phone, we got to get the fingerprint.
well, they already take your fingerprints when you go there. They already have them. They can unlock all your stuff.
It's
so?
not the same.
I bet
But
you
no,
there'd be a way.
Yeah, but there's laws with all that, and if you use it erroneously, then it
Okay.
negates anything they find on there. They can't use it admissible in court, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it does bring into question, like, how much of our stuff do we want to be accessible by one access point? It's no different than saying you don't want the same password for all your devices. You don't want the same password to log into everything, because once that's compromised, you're toast.
My fingerprint is one password, but
But if
it
everything's
is
linked to that,
extremely difficult, borderline impossible for an average
for now,
person to hack that.
Yeah, but how-
and it is two-factor because they have to have my device.
but it doesn't change the fact that it's still possible. I mean, the amount of people that say, "Oh, it's never going to happen to me," and they go,
Yeah.
"Ah, I got caught." I mean, how many
Right.
companies go, "We've got
There's nothing perfect.
We got bleeding edge security. Nobody's going to hack our database."
Nobody
Oh,
would say
whoops.
that these days. Nobody would say that these
Right.
days because
So
if
how
they
can you
did,
make the same
that's
statement
how
with
we know they're
biometrics?
liars. That's how we know they're liars. When I get emails, when my customers get emails saying, "We can get you on the first page of Google, guaranteed."
No, you can't.
You're a liar.
Yeah.
So I know immediately because of that guarantee, the
Right.
presumable guarantee, you are a liar.
Right.
So I don't trust you automatically. Because nobody can make that guarantee unless I'm paying through the teeth for ad space.
Right.
And I can do that myself without you.
Yeah, I
Right.
still bring it into question. I mean, I don't think everything should be linked to biometrics.
Okay.
I don't. I know that that's the way the world's going, but I think at the end of the day, if you have everything linked through biometrics, all it takes is one breach and everything is accessible. To me,
Just to wrap up the thought, my phone, when I use my fingerprint to unlock my phone, every so many times, it requires me to also enter my PIN.
That's actually true of my phone as well.
mine does
If
not.
my
Yeah.
phone is turned off, I have to use my PIN in order to turn it back on.
Yes.
Yes.
So it is two-factor. I cannot turn on my phone without my PIN, and I cannot unlock my phone without either my PIN or my fingerprint. So I have to have both of those things, PIN, fingerprint, two-factor.
Yes.
Plus I have to have the device, which is actually three-factor authentication because I have to have the physical device in order to do it.
Unless you have the service set up where you can activate it through, say, like if you got a Samsung phone, the Samsung service. It's just like
I
being
don't
able
have
to,
that.
No, I know, but I do.
But that, right.
It's no different than like calling OnStar and saying unlock my car. It's the same deal.
I don't know anything about it, Jeff.
Okay, we'll find them.
But I'll tell you what, there's nothing that is perfect these days. I think every effort needs to be made in order to secure your devices and your accounts.
Sure.
Exactly.
And that's really all that you can do. So it's really just educating ourselves. We have an extremely intelligent community. We'd love to know your comments. Please email us or comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. That would be fantastic. Let us know your thoughts about how you secure your devices, obviously without giving us all the secrets.
Right. Don't tell us your password.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'd love to know, what do you recommend in a case like Doubting Thomas over here, who thinks that nothing can ever be secure?
Or a case like me where I need it to be easy enough that I can actually access my stuff.
Or me, who is so trusting that I buy my coffee with my fingerprint.
Right.
Yeah, I'll never do that.
So, Microsoft's own Surface Book 2 is afflicted by the blue screen of death errors following the most recent software updates. If you're running a Surface Book 2, you might want to hold off on the latest cumulative update that is making owners irate. The blue screen of death first began occurring on the devices shortly after the update KB4467682 was pushed out during last Tuesday's updates. This update is for users of the 1803 build of Windows 10, also known as the April 2018 update. It contains several fixes as well as including some issues relating to the seek bar in Windows Media Player and some .NET problems. Add to that list bricks your Surface Book 2 to the point where you have to reinstall Windows. It isn't a good thing for Microsoft's flagship laptop, especially this close to Christmas. With a high price tag, users might expect that Microsoft's own device should showcase the very best of how Windows should be. While the patch can be uninstalled, because it blue screened so quickly, some users have had to resort to reinstalling the operating system from scratch.
Brutal.
Wow!
This is the very company we're talking about who makes the operating system, and they make the device, and they brick their own device. Can you imagine this is happening to you? And so you try to log in and try to remove that KB, and you can't
because
it blue screens as you're trying.
Yeah, just
That's
like that.
brutal.
So you just,
I
lose.
feel like they need to have a better product testing department.
They fired them.
Or they need to have a product testing department. Yeah.
Maybe. Like, I think, how many stories have we covered where, like, somehow they royally mess it up? Like, I think of the AI chatbot that went really racist really quick.
Microsoft's chatbot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to pull the plug on that pretty quickly.
Yeah, like, just the amount of...
I just don't like that they do these updates that ruin my life at work.
I know.
And this is a case where, okay, this is 1803, so that means people who are not early adopters,
Right.
they're still on April's update path,
Yeah.
have had their devices bricked. But these are the modern system from Microsoft, so...
You would think you would be safe buying the,
Yeah, you'd hope so.
Yeah,
You'd
you're
hope.
not.
No.
You're not,
Sorry,
though.
folks. You're not.
Nintendo has relaxed its rules for video makers who share their gameplay on websites such as Twitch and YouTube. Unlike Microsoft and Sony, Nintendo has restricted what it let video makers share online and took a slice of advertising revenue from YouTubers. Its new guidelines lift most of the restrictions and no longer are asking gaming vloggers to register for Nintendo's revenue sharing scheme. Nintendo said it was humbled by its fans' loyalty. Many video makers had complained about Nintendo's policy and avoided sharing gameplay videos online because the company often filed copyright claims on the content. The company said in a statement, "As long as you follow some basic rules, we will not object to your use of gameplay footage and/or screenshots captured from games which Nintendo owns the copyright." Key points in the new guidelines say, 1. Gamers will be able to share videos playing Nintendo software as long as they include their own creative input or commentary. 2. Video makers will be allowed to earn advertising revenue from their videos using approved schemes, including YouTube's partner program and the Twitch partner program. And 3. Uploading raw gameplay videos without any commentary will not be allowed except for sharing short screen captures using the built-in tools on the Nintendo Switch. The changes were announced shortly before the release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate this Friday, which is expected to be a popular title for online streamers.
That's cool. So now we get to start our Nintendo Switch channel.
Yeah, and I have a Switch.
Bring it next week. We'll start.
Okay,
we
I'll
will
bring it next
test
week.
them. We will test them, and we will find out if this is legit. And we'll see if we demonetize that video.
Okay.
I would
Put
be
them to the
interested
test.
to know what their definition of commentary is. For instance, if you upload a 1-hour video,
Right.
and at the beginning you say, "This is me playing my Nintendo Switch. I'm playing this game," and say nothing until the end and go,
Jeff.
"That was no."
Doesn't work that way.
I know it doesn't, but
You're-
at what point do they take the creative element out of it and go, "Sorry, you didn't say enough individual comments. We're not letting you do that."
No, I think it's like royalty-free music. Like
Yeah.
I can't just publish the music online and let people download it from my website. Yes, it's free. Yes, it's royalty-free, and you can download it for free. But if I want to distribute it and redistribute it, I have to put something into it. So whether I rap along or sing along or add my own talking over top and use it
Right.
as a music bed underneath, that's okay. But if I upload a gameplay footage and you get to hear everything and see everything and there's nobody talking and reacting to it, then
Right.
that's where they have an issue.
See, what I think's going to happen, and I feel horrible for saying this, and somebody's probably going to yell at me on YouTube, because we're going to get a bunch of kids going, "So I'm playing my game, and this is what I
Jeff,
got in inventory."
it already happens.
I know, but it's like,
That's real
there's going to be
life.
more
Yeah.
of this. And it's like,
That's you know what sucks is that we are trying to compete against those people for
I know, that's what
monetization.
drives me nuts.
This is hot stuff. People love that sort of stuff.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't. If I'm going to watch a review, I want it to be informative and be like, okay, so this is the issue you're
Absolutely.
running into. You want to go here, do this.
Right. But you're an adult.
I know.
My kids, like my 8-year-old, absolutely loves watching kids doing stuff on YouTube.
That's
and
real.
it's brilliant. And
I like
so,
watching cats.
And if I was that parent of those children who are making those videos, I'd be so proud that they're doing it. That they're
Yeah.
making. That
Yeah, that's a college fund right there.
Oh,
They've monetized
yeah.
their own stuff.
the top earners on YouTube are kids, essentially. Like
They're just playing video games or
compared to
unboxing toys. I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, according to CoinGecko, here's what the crypto market looked like as of, looks like about 1,800 hours. Wow, we shot this Wednesday, December 5th, 2018. This week, Bitcoin went down even further, $3,722 US. That is a drop of about $469 over last week. So it continues to decline. Of course, Bitcoin being what controls the market, it is affecting other coins as well. Litecoin is down to $29.40 per Litecoin. That's a loss of $5.10 US. Ethereum is down to $103.56, which is a loss of $18.11. Everything's going down, including Monero, which is really hurting right now, $52.74 per Monero. When I started mining Monero, it was up about $200. So that's another loss of about $10.36 over the past 7 days. Stellite, the little guys, they're pretty static. This week they're at $2 or pardon me, not $2.56, 2.56 ten-thousandths of a cent. These are really little coins. Turtle coin, and so that's about what they had last week. 2.57 is last week's total. Turtle coin down as well, lost 0.14 10,000ths of a cent. So that is putting them at 0.42 10,000ths of a cent. Knowing that Turtle Coin, for example, is the value of Turtle Coin is based on Stellite, which is a billionth, I believe, of a Bitcoin.
Yep.
So because Bitcoin is down, of course, you're going to see other currencies like Turtle Coin go down as well because it's based on that. So you can think of the US dollar and how the Canadian dollar really plays on to the US dollar. Right. And our value of our currency here in Canada is based upon the value of how it matches up to the US dollar.
Right.
Exactly.
So similarly, that's what we see with cryptocurrency as well. Jeff, last week you had some commentary that you wanted to add, and I cut you off, and after the show we had a little bit of talk. What do you think is affecting cryptocurrency right now?
I don't remember.
You don't remember the conversation?
I don't remember the conversation.
We talked a little bit about it, and I theorize, and you know, I think that a lot of it has to do with people not really understanding how cryptocurrency operates and how cryptocurrency.
Right.
So there's almost becoming a bit of a stigma around cryptocurrency where people start to think of it as a hacker coin.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So
exactly.
it's a bad thing because whenever I hear about ransomware, I hear Bitcoin is involved. Well, Bitcoin and various cryptocurrencies, being Monero is a perfect example of an untraceable coin. So if a hacker were to encrypt your files and demand Monero, it's because the government can't trace that transaction. Right. They can't figure out who you paid that to. So that puts a really bad spin on cryptocurrency. And I think that because the general population really controls how much is being invested and how much is being mined and everything else, then that really has an impact on the current standing.
It's true. And one of the other reasons, so now that you've mentioned that, it's jogged my memory.
Okay.
One of the other reasons why I believe that it's struggling is because in the last couple of months we've had a lot of environmental impact conversations about the cost of mining Bitcoin. And so for that reason, you've got people freaking out going, it's more costly to mine Bitcoin than it is to physically mine gold.
Yeah.
When you factor in the ratio and the dollar value. So, you know, stuff like that, and people are going, why? You know what? I'm getting out of Bitcoin. I don't want to do that anymore. And it's like any other commodity. When people walk away, the value goes down.
So what is interesting there is we know that NVIDIA stocks are way down.
Yes.
That's
and they're struggling. And so if people are losing a little bit of faith in their mining rig, now all of a sudden on the market becomes saturated with used video cards.
Yes.
Right.
GPUs. Because the mining rigs are shutting down. If that's presumably the case, I don't know. But there's a good theory for you. If the mining rig shut down, well, what do? I get on eBay and I sell off my mining rig, which is a bunch of great GPUs. 1070s, 1080s, and things like that. So now NVIDIA starts to plummet because nobody's buying them direct. They're not buying the new cards. They're buying these used ones that have been used for mining. Yeah,
it would be so interesting to see if somebody came up with a new coin that wasn't compared to the Bitcoin. It wasn't, you know, valued against Satoshis. Because Satoshis. It'd be interesting to see because right now everything is linked to it. So as it drops, everything else drops. So if somebody came along and said, you know what? We've got a whole new coin. It's based on a different algorithm. It's not even linked to that. It's a whole new way of looking at it. And to see how that takes off and somebody goes, oh, if I throw my mining rig into that, think how much I can gain, and it changes the market. Like, it would be very interesting to see. It'd be no different than if the global economy said, you know, we're no longer investing in the US dollar, we want to go to the euro. And if the euro became the benchmark currency, how it would change the game.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see, and if it could be done.
I don't know. Regardless, I mean, it's the whole market that's affected. So just a reminder that cryptocurrency is always volatile and is always changing. The values fluctuate. We give you a weekly stat as of today when we're filming. But realistically, I mean, through the week it drops and it rises and it drops and it rises. The market never closes. It's not like the stock market that closes at 5 p.m. and everyone goes home. No, it's 24/7, so it's always changing. And we will have updates as they come for you.
Thank you. And big thanks to Roy W. Nash and our community of viewers for submitting stories to us this week. Thanks for watching the Category5.tv newsroom. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all your tech news with a slight Linux bias. And for more free content, be sure to check out our website. From the Category5.tv newsroom, I'm Sasha Rickman.
I'm Robbie Ferguson.
And I'm Jeff Weston.